We're going to take a look at the Nike ACG Gore-Tex Mountain Fly. It, of course, has a Gore-Tex upper, but it also has a carbon fiber plate embedded in the React foam. As always, I'm going to give you some details and then give you my impressions as I feel them from a first run on the trails. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Nike ACG Gore-Tex Mountain Fly. It's a $220 shoe that's just now releasing. ACG means all conditions gear, and you also see here prominently displayed Gore-Tex. It has a full Gore-Tex upper, so instead of a booty construction, the upper is actually Gore-Tex's Invisible Fit. What that means is the laminate, it's laminated, the membrane is laminated directly to the upper. You'll also see there are absolutely no seams, everything's welded shut. The lacing system is a pull cord system. In terms of fit, I've just tried them on. The fit is true to size, but quite low over the toe. The rubber piece may interfere with dodgy toes like mine. I might size up half a size, especially if you're going to wear winter socks, as this is really a winter shoe. Upper doesn't stretch much because of the membrane involved. Now, what's really exciting in kind of unseen under all that black and gray is that we have what Nike calls the fly plate. So it has a full carbon plate. I've heard it's similar to the Vaporfly 4% plate, and that's very exciting. The React foam here is soft, I found. I compared them just by pressing to my Pegasus Trail 36. It's softer than that. It might be about as soft as the Peg Trail 2. It's a little bit softer even the women's Pegasus 37, which I have a pair and I like a lot. In terms of the outsole, well, we have a full coverage outsole here. I'm a little worried about how mud may accumulate. The lugs appear to be about 4 millimeters. The blue area is a softer, what they call sticky rubber, whereas all the black is firmer, and that's also firmer to the touch. So you should have some durability and stability around the outside and sticky in the middle. Now, in terms of weight, they're not the lightest shoe out there, that's for sure, with all the Gore-Tex and what appears to be a really stout stack height here. My pair of 8.5 US comes in at 12.84 ounces or 364 grams. In a US 8.5, so about 13.1, 371 grams in a 9. But that's quite comparable and competitive to shoes such as the La Sportiva Blizzard, which comes in at about half an ounce more. The Blizzard does have 7 millimeter lugs versus what looks like about 4, maybe 5 here. There are a lot of cool touches on the upper here. You can see the text that Nike ACG has put, and it's different on both sides. You can see what they're saying there. And there's also highlights on the midsole here, the fly plate and the React, and they also call out the different kinds of rubber underfoot that's stamped in. So what am I thinking about for these shoes? Well, it feels to me like it might be a really, really good winter running snowshoe. I run a lot in Park City on groomed hard pack snow, and the combination of this adequate lug pattern for hard pack snow, the Gore-Tex, of course, and the propulsion from the plate should prove really interesting for those kind of conditions. I find generally Gore-Tex uppers are more about keeping your feet warm than super dry. So I'm going to take them out for a run now here in New Hampshire on some more moderate trails. No snow yet here, and we'll give you a full report as soon as I get back. I'm kind of looking forward to this combination of softer React and the carbon plate. I'm close to my true to size, but I think I would size up, especially if I was wearing heavier socks or winter socks. Question. Right below the G, we're quite wide. We do have a bit of a low toe box, really due to all that rubber over the top. I think it may be a bit unnecessary. I'm feeling my big toe a bit, but in terms of the ride, the softer React foam here is making a big difference in combination with the carbon plate. This is a much more cushion feeling ride than, say, a Zoom Fly 3. In some ways it approaches the softness of Zoom X, but it's a bit denser in feel because it is reacting. Of course, it's heavier. But the plate in the mix isn't really noticed, except when you're on the flat. You definitely feel that Vaporfly impulse. So I think for smoother, flatter trails in the snow that I'm thinking about using them on, they are going to be just fantastic. They climb well. I haven't really done too many downhills, but I'll tell you how that goes. In terms of the upper, about 50F here, it is a bit warm, as Gore-Tex is. You can see I'm sweating away on them, but it's beating up. For deep winter, this is going to be great. I'd love to see Nike consider a version with a non-Gore-Tex upper here to lighten it. Our weight at 13 ounces, yes, it's noticeable. This is a heavy shoe, but when you're actually running, particularly on flatter terrain, it moves along very nicely, very smoothly, very nice rocker, soft cushion. It's really a great winter all-around shoe. I'm going to take them on some roads now a little later in my trail run to tell you how that goes, but really I'm impressed here. Okay, some final conclusions after my about 5.6 mile trail run with about a mile and a bit of road here in Stratham, New Hampshire. So typical New England trails, some roots, some rocks. These are pretty moderate, and I finished with the road section. So a few comments about the upper. Definitely well held. I will say, I think if you're going to plan on using these for hiking or winter use, you might consider sizing up half a size. They feel a touch short now that I've run them a bit. In terms of the hold, everything is good, except you can see the pads in there. Any shoe that really doesn't have a full collar suffers a bit in the high hold, but wasn't really an issue. But it is a bit noticed at times. The other thing, given that this is a completely rigid carbon plated shoe, is occasionally on toe off on uphills on the lateral side here, felt a little unstable. There's not much give to the front, but I don't think that's a huge issue. But I'm not sure how well they'll do on super technical terrain. As far as the traction, a little bit of mud you can see. Very quiet running shoe on the road. Very surprised about that. And I'm going to comment also about the road ride here. This is one of these shoes, and it's well named all conditions. I'd also say all terrain, because I really felt super smooth on the road section. Plenty of cushion, definitely that Vaporfly carbon plate impulse in the mix here. So it's a great option for your recovery shoe and your door to trail, if you don't mind the weight, which is at 13 ounces, mainly I think because of the Gore-Tex upper. So very smooth, very enjoyable. Even at slower paces, the plate just helps you roll along, and the React has some nice bounce to it. So in comparison to a few that we really like for similar kind of all purposes, this 10 from Saucony comes in at 11.7 ounces, so a bit more than an ounce less, but it has a non-Gore-Tex upper, so that's 332 grams. So it's definitely comparable. It's a very wonderful, bouncy ride, and it really handles just about anything. This one seems to roll a bit better, though. Of course, it has the Gore-Tex upper. So what's it good for? What's it even great for, considering that it is at $220? So I would say, of course, you can hike in it. It'd be a great fast-packing shoe. There's plenty of reinforcement here. Overlays along the rand to protect it. We'll see how they last. Of course, the Gore-Tex. So hiking, particularly the focus on winter hiking, certainly winter running, all conditions, all terrain. This is going to be my go-to for both road and trail when things are really miserable, wet, cold, and sloppy. That outsole should do really well on snow. Not so sure how well on mud, though, yet. And then as a casual shoe, I suppose you could use it. It's a bit hard to put on, but it'd be a great shoe to kind of also get through all the winter puddles, mud, and slush piles. So we're going to have a deeper review after I run them some more on more terrain, but the Nike ACG Mountain Fly is a great new option. Your Vaporfly for trails, if you will. And it's on sale now, $220.